This is the Connect Air by Seasucker and Alt Angle. It's the collaboration nobody saw coming, and I'm not into this. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I'm gonna explain why. So as you can see, this is suction cup to the side of my vehicle, and then this Alt Angle bike repair stand is in it, and now I can work on my bike, and this is my repair stand. Great. And on the website, they show big vans with this suction cup too. How is it not gonna bend the panel? It is bending my panel. You can see here. How is that not gonna cause so many problems? How can they sell this and not expect that to happen? I didn't see any warnings on the product page about it. Make sure you put it on a panel that's supported with a beam behind it. The other thing is, it's so close to the vehicle that if you don't turn the bicycle like this, your handlebar is gonna hit into the side of it. And yeah, I get maybe you have a 22-pound gravel bike or something, but some idiot's gonna put like a 70-pound e-bike on this thing. Oh, wow. Yeah, don't like that. I don't like that one bit. I wanna be fair, so let me say all the good things about this. First of all, I could be totally wrong about it damaging panels. It could just flex them and it's fine. You could definitely put it on windows. I wouldn't want to put it on a power window on a car, just having been somebody who's worked on power windows. Oh, but a fixed window, yeah, probably fine. You own a bike shop and you want to put a bike on display in the window, it'll be fine on some commercial glass. Also, this is probably the most portable bike repair stand ever. Say what you will about what it might do to the things you could attach it to, but this is all built really well. Alt Angle is a good product, and Seasucker only makes good stuff, so we know that's good. But it freaks me out. The price, $360. That includes an Alt Angle with this base over here. I mean, seeing how unique it is, I'm not really surprised that's what the price is. Maybe this is for somebody, but this collaboration has me scratching my head. So while we're talking about super portable bike repair stands, I would actually recommend something like this. This is a Feedback Sports ultralight bike repair stand, and I've been using it for over 6 months now. It's been kind of a mainstay in my shop, and this is pretty much the lightest bike repair stand that you can get. I believe it's just over 10 pounds or 4.8 kilograms. And it'll actually support quite a bit of weight. This is a 39-pound Ozark Trail FS2 Walmart slalom bike, but it'll support up to 75 pounds or 34 kilograms. That's pretty good for a bike repair stand that's this light. But why would you want a lightweight bike repair stand? Well, if you're pedaling one up a hill like I did in that video with the big dummy, then you would definitely want a lightweight one. That was around the time that I got this. But actually, I tend to reach for this thing because I'm always moving it around the shop. I'm moving it from one side of the shop to the other, I'm using it outside, and sometimes I'm taking it with me, and that's when you really want a lightweight repair stand because you're throwing it in and out of your car, maybe you're carrying it down a path somewhere. This is a field repair stand. Now it's got some pretty cool features. This clamp over here is pretty cool. As you can see, it just moves freely in and out. I can just pull it with my hand, but then you push it in. The second you turn this the littlest bit, it's locked into place and won't move. So you can quickly attach a bike to it. Just being perfectly honest, I would prefer the traditional crank type clamp like what you would find on a park tool repair stand. And in the shop, that's what I would rather use. But this is a lot slimmer, and honestly, I don't hate it. Now, one reason you might not want a lightweight repair stand is that you don't want it to move. You want it to be heavy and you want it to remain in place. Well, this kind of gives you the best of both worlds. The stance is really wide, and because it has this sort of tripod shape, I don't really find that I'm tripping over these very often, and it's wide enough where it's really, really sturdy. Because it's so light, it does kind of move a little bit. It flexes, and a repair stand that's just designed for your shop probably isn't going to move at all. It's a lot heavier and it's a lot sturdier. That doesn't mean it's not strong, it's just flexy. Another downside, although this is rated for 75 pounds, and it'll absolutely support that safely, they recommend you stick to about 35 pounds. That's its ideal use case. And once you start going above that, like what would happen on an e-bike, it's gonna start flexing a lot more. This is $260. That's not bad. That's right in line with a premium bike repair stand. And the accessories don't cost that much. For $40, they have this tool tray, and it is not cheap. This is super sturdy. It's made out of like fiberglass reinforced nylon or something like that, and it clips right to the stand. It's even got a cup holder, and I don't know what this is for. Maybe a hook for like a rag or something like that. But honestly, as a value, this stand plus the tool tray, you're at around 300 bucks and you're getting a premium stand that is the most portable and lightweight in its class. I think it's pretty good and I would absolutely recommend it. I should have featured this a long time ago, but I was using it. So while we are examining this beautiful stand, we should take a look at this beautiful bike, the Ozark Trail FS.2 slalom bike. There's not much I can say about this bike that I didn't say in my dedicated review of it, but in case you don't want to watch that whole video, I'm gonna give you a TLDR here. This is a $450 Walmart bike with full suspension, and it's actually legit. This is pretty advanced linkage for $450, and it even has a name brand shock. But everybody is calling this bike a game changer. They're freaking out about it, and one of the main things I said in my video is that this is not a game changer, and to sum it up, it's really heavy and not really effective as a trail bike without some upgrades. And so out of the box, you're not getting anything that you couldn't get already. You get an entry-level hardtail that actually felt about this good. But when you start putting upgrades on this thing, as we're gonna find out in a future video, it's pretty dang impressive. So here's why it's worth mentioning. First of all, it's got really impressive parts for the money. It's got a Shimano Q's derailleur and Link Glide cassette. It has a Suntour XCM fork, which you would expect in this price range. But aside from just the parts, it's actually a worthy platform for upgrades. Like I said, this linkage is pretty advanced for $450, and it also has a rear through axle with boost hub spacing. That means the most popular mountain bike wheels that you could purchase are gonna fit on this bike. But if you use the wheels that it comes with, they're actually tubeless compatible. So you can take these inner tubes out, put valve stems in, and then run much lower tire pressure, although you're probably gonna screw up the rims by hitting them into rocks. But I'd say one of the biggest things, something I didn't do a good enough job mentioning in my video, is that this thing is durable. I rode it really hard, and actually Matt Dennison did an entire video on it where he crashed it multiple times, and the thing seems to hold up. That is very different from the Walmart bikes of old. Now, in the end, I gave the FS2 a lukewarm review because everybody's flipping out about it. It's so hyped, and I felt like I had to be the adult in the room and explain what this really is. But if you're looking to start mountain biking on a budget and you want to know more about it, you should watch that dedicated review because I cover a lot of different bikes in it and explain what you should actually be looking for. Ozark Trail FS2 slalom bike, you can hit jumps on it right out of the box. You can ride it hard, it's durable, pretty impressive, but you're gonna have to upgrade it if you want to ride trails with it. These are the Fox Enduro Pro knee guards, and while the Enduro Pro knee guards have existed for some time, these are the newest version, and they are incredibly comfortable. If you watch my channel, you know that I pretty much always ride with knee guards because when I don't, I get smacked in the knee either by a pedal or something. I'm always doing stupid stuff. And so I wear them at all times, whether I'm climbing or descending, and I notice a lot of people wear their knee pads around their ankles when they're climbing because it's annoying. I don't, I just leave them on all the time. I didn't touch these over the course of 2 rides even once. Actually, after the ride, I found myself eating dinner in my knee pads and I didn't even notice until way later. Now, there are a few reasons for this. First of all, the large elastic gripper panel. One of the only downsides to these knee guards is that they're really, really hard to get on and they're really, really hard to get off because as you're struggling with it, this thing is just gripping everywhere. I say that's a good thing. There's nothing scratching you. There's nothing moving around. It just fits perfectly. Now, another thing that I think contributes to the comfort also contributes to its protective qualities, and that's the Koroyd inserts. Now, Koroyd is a material that compresses and it ends up spreading out impact very effectively. It's very safe, and oftentimes it's used in helmets. So when I heard these had Koroyd inserts, I said, well, does that mean it's single impact? When you hit this knee pad, is it then garbage and you have to buy a new insert? No, these are TBE-based Koroyd inserts. They're all new, and you can hit them as many times as you want. Now, judging by the looks of it, these are low-profile, pedal-friendly knee guards. These are not for going going to the downhill park and crushing laps. They're not for riding Red Bull Rampage. Your pedal comes up and hits you. These are gonna protect you. You fall off your bike and slide across the dirt. They're gonna protect you. It's the spring right now. The weather's really good. These didn't really bother me. If anything, they provide a little bit of warmth, but I would say in a really hot environment or in the middle of the summer, these are gonna be too warm. These are $115. I don't even know whether things are expensive or cheap anymore because everything seems like it's expensive, but that's pretty much in line with premium knee guards. This is all I will be wearing until something better comes out. When these wear out, I'm gonna buy new ones exactly like it. I can't say enough good things about them, but knee guards are highly personal. Everybody has different shaped calves and thighs, and you're just gonna have to find knee guards that work for you. But if you're short and stocky like me, I could say for a fact, these are gonna fit great and they're gonna be really comfortable. You know, I have a soft spot for small, passionate companies with a story. These tools fit the bill. They're from Shapeshifter. This one is called the Raven. It's a Pulaski. And this one is called the Porcupine. It's a rake, and they're pretty unique. All right, I've been meaning to cut this root out of the berm. It's a big one over here. I don't know, maybe there was dirt covering it at one point. Let's test out the Pulaski. Oh, wow. That works. That is a nice beveled edge. Usually this is for sort of digging through pot rock or something, but I just smashed that root like it was nothing. It's got good weight on the end. Yeah, let me fix all this now. So you normally use like a rake or a McLeod or something to move dirt around, but also you can kind of sift stuff out of it. You don't want organics in anything you're building with, so you want sticks and leaves and things out. And this does a pretty good job of sifting it out, but I think it's more for moving dirt around. So I'm gonna pull it up onto the berm here, and you can see there's all rocks and sticks and stuff up here where I'm pulling on it. So it's doing what a good rake should. I love that the back side of the rake is completely flat so you can use it to pack. Even if you have a dedicated tool for packing, you don't want to have to keep going and grabbing different tools while you're out building. You want your tools to be multifunctional within reason, so it's great that this is flat back here for packing, but also, if you look at it really closely, it's curved. That could be good for dirt moving, but also, when you're packing, it's not sticking the edges of it into the soil and just making big marks. Now, something I didn't mention about this rake yet, it's got a beveled edge over here, and so you could cut into some pot rock and maybe even slice a root. Let me see if I can cut that root over there. All right, so in a pinch, you could just bring this rake out with you and get a lot done. So Shapeshifter's philosophy is if you're gonna hike miles and miles into the woods carrying tools with you, you don't want that tool to break. You want it to serve as many functions as possible and not break while you're out there, because then you need to haul out all the garbage and haul in a new tool. So being that they are concerned with hauling, what do you think this is? This little gap in the middle. That's so you can gang up multiple tools together. So when you're carrying them or putting them on a rack, they're more space efficient. See, it doesn't slide around or anything. That's a problem I've had many times. You have a few tools and they're sort of doing this whole thing while you're carrying them. No more. This is really nice. I don't know, $132 for this. That's a lot of money for a rake, but as you can see, it's not just a rake and it's not gonna just last a few days and bend or break. Yeah, how are you gonna have small companies with passionate people making really specific products if they can't price them in such a way where they can make money? This is not Lowe's. You're not gonna find this at Home Depot or some gardening store. This is a bespoke tool that's made by a little team in Whistler, Canada, and they actually use them. You can tell they put a ton of thought into these tools. And no, they're not gonna be cheap, but it's a keep for life, replace the handle a bunch of times kind of tool. There are a lot of kids' helmets out there, but if your kids are below the age of 4 or 5 and their heads are really small, there's just not a lot of options. And believe me, I've tried them all. There's not a lot of them that kids really want to wear, except for these ones. This is my daughter's helmet, and this is my son's helmet, and they both absolutely love them. And since we settled on these helmets, we've been getting them for all of our friends, and they're all wearing them, and I'll show you why it's my favorite helmet. So first of all, one of the most important things about a helmet is, does it protect protect your head. This covers a lot of a kid's head, and it has this little beak over here. And the beak, what would you call that? Visor. The visor, it's actually really thick and rubbery, and it has a honeycomb pattern in it over here. So if a kid falls in their face, which my kids have multiple times, it keeps their face off the ground, and it actually works. Now, I don't like to talk about it, but this helmet probably saved my daughter's life. So this is a brand new one. And so I know it's actually good for protecting heads. But if you impact a helmet, you really have to replace it. But also they're very comfortable. Everything that an adult helmet would have, this has an adjustable strap at the back, and it's quite nicely designed, and it's got these little pieces of rope on the side that the strap's attached to, so it's not that weird strap that folds over on itself. They're also available in many sizes. This is a small, and this is an extra small for Benny's little head. And the reason I'm including these today is because I recently saw that they had a new helmet for sale, the Kids Ready helmet. And to me, the main advantage of this is that it looks cooler than these. It looks a little bit more enduro than this helmet, wouldn't you say? It does look a little bit more enduro, but in all seriousness, it's also lighter. I think this is marketed as more of a performance helmet for what it's worth. You can get this little light for it that fits in the back here. It would help a kid be more visible if they were riding out in the street. One of the main advantages of these helmets, they're available in so many different colors, and if you go on the website and ask your kid what color they like, it's sort of like they're involved in the process and they're gonna be more excited to wear it. Now, another advantage of all of these helmets is they have magnetic buckles. And what's good about that is they're really, really easy to fasten. And if you've ever messed around with a kid's helmet, you know that's important. So what do these cost? Well, that's a sticking point for a lot of parents. These are gonna cost anywhere between $70 and $90, depending on which helmet you get and whether you get it with the light. That's a lot cheaper than most helmets that I get, and honestly, for my kids' safety, I don't care. Whatever they will wear, whatever they are excited to put on, that's the helmet that I'm gonna get them. It's just totally worth it to me, and if that's sticker shock for you, I understand. Just try to find a helmet that your kid really, really, really likes wearing so you don't catch them riding a bike without one. I found very few hand pumps that I truly like. Let's see if I sort of like these. These are the encase pumps from Wolftooth. Wolftooth makes a lot of really good stuff, but I have never examined any of their pumps. These are available in many different capacities, from 30cc all the way up to 85. In case something happens, you have extra stuff inside the pump. If I pull this out over here, I have an entire multi-tool and chain breaker. Now, Wolftooth is not the first one to do that. Actually, I think 1UP does it better in some ways because they actually have a multi-tool that you can fold out and use. Normally, Wolftooth uses these loose bits that I'm actually not too big of a fan of. When you're out on the trail performing repairs, you don't want a loose bit that you're gonna have to lose somewhere. But aside from that, there are a lot of really good things to say about this pump, even if we compare it to the 1UP pump. This 85cc pump is actually slightly smaller and lighter than the 1UP pump, and if you wanna go more compact, you can take either of these and put either a tool or a tubeless repair kit in them. I think the tubeless repair kit makes a lot more sense because it's a one-stop shop. You have your tire repair and your inflation all in here. You can put your tool someplace else. This is a little tubeless repair kit that goes inside the pump. It's quite nice. That is your little applicator, and then you have a whole bunch of big heavy plugs in there. They're advertised as very water resistant. Everything in here is really sealed up. They lock so that they can't come apart, and they just expect you to submerge it and get it splashed and covered in mud. And they advertise that, actually making available replacement parts for every single part of the pump. So it's built to buy once and keep forever. They have an entire layout of all the parts on their website, and you can buy each individual one, including a Clik adapter. So in a moment, we're gonna test the only thing that really matters. How long does it take to pump up a full mountain bike tire with the smallest pump? But I will say, this is all exquisitely well made, and it's apparently made in the USA. So in the near term, if you live here, I guess this is always gonna be priced at what it is right now. which is not cheap. These pumps start around $65, but as you get bigger and you start adding tools, they can go way over $100. That's not cheap, even for a premium hand pump, but this little tool is kind of growing on me. It's got these magnetic latches in here. It even has a valve core remover. That's pretty nice. This little Clik adapter allows you to convert the pump to work natively with Clik valves. Now, I did an entire video on how bad Presta valves are, and I showed you all the alternatives. I mentioned that I've been using Clik valves over here, and they'll work with Presta. But this little pump, because it has a Clik adapter on it, there's no locking mechanism or anything. You just push it on, and it stays there. It doesn't fall off. You don't have to hold it on while you're pumping it. That's really nice. And when you want to take it off, you just pop it off. But of course, the real question is, if you get the smallest pump, the 30cc, what's it going to take to inflate this mountain bike tire? Well, let's find out. This gets really old really fast. I've had to do this out on the trail. Oh. This is progressing very quickly. Okay, we have like significant tire pressure in here. It doesn't require a lot of force to move this. Normally you feel like you're gonna just snap your valve stem off. You could totally get by on a mountain bike with one of these, and if you were on a gravel bike, you'd already be done inflating your tire. Okay, the field test says that's around 20 PSI. You can ride on that, and then it pops right off. This is the smallest one they sell, and like I said, it's probably more appropriate for a gravel tire or something like that, but you could get by with it on a mountain bike. That's pretty impressive. It was easy to move, and it's a pretty well-designed pump, I gotta be honest. And so being that right now, this is the only pump that I know of that works natively with Clik valves, I think I'm gonna actually run this on my bike, maybe the slightly bigger one. Okay. I think this is my new pump. I hope you enjoyed these reviews today. I hope you learned something, and if you didn't, I hope you at least found this video entertaining. Thanks for riding with me today, and I'll see you next time.